I don't know about calmly and sanely, but
Neither do I, but
that's
that's okay.
okay. You can leave now. By the way, have any of you ever seen that movie involved the House of Usher? Vincent Price played Roderick Usher. Yeah, there was one before that. You know who was in that one? I don't know either. Pardon? Many years ago, before my time. By the way, this story was broadcast in, I think it was 1949 on radio. Anyway, well, I need to collect my thoughts in order to introduce our next show, starring Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The series was developed from an earlier daytime show called Smack Out, as in, I'm smack out of peanuts. Smack out of... I didn't write that. Fibber McGee was played by, anybody know? Jim Jordan. And his wife's name was, well, his wife's real name, Marion Driscoll. They were natives of Peoria. Somebody heard this already. Peoria, Illinois. So if it played in Peoria, I guess it was okay. Jim was a farm boy and Marion was a coal miner's daughter. However, not Loretta Lynn. They had 2 children and they got into radio at the handsome sum of $10 a week. They were discovered by an executive from Johnson's Wax and went coast to coast in 1935. Tonight's episode is from 1939. Fibber, McGee, and Molly used cornball humor with twisted words and puns. Of course, the McGees lived at Wistful Vista. See, teamwork. Where they created memorable characters like Teeny, the old-timer, Boomer, and Mrs. Uppington. I don't know if you remember, but the original character of Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve started on Fibber, McGee, and Molly. And so did the character of Mayor Latrivia, played by Gail Gordon. Finally, announcer Harlow Wilcox had a major comedic role and used what they called the integrated commercial, where the commercials were worked into the script and there were no actual commercial breaks. So, if you've regained your composure from the fall of the House of Usher, here are Jim and Marion Jordan as Fibber, McGee, and Molly in The Wrestler.
The Johnson's Wax Program. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly. A few weeks ago, we announced a sensational new labor-saving product, a double-action cleaner and wax polish for automobiles called Johnson's Carnu, C-A-R-N-U. Since then, unsolicited letters have been pouring in from listeners everywhere who say that Johnson's Carnu is even easier to use, gives more wonderful results than they believe possible. Some of these comments are from women who wax polish their own cars without help. Now, if you want your car to take on a brilliant gleaming polish, you want the finish to look as bright as it did the day it was new, then get a can of Johnson's Carnu at once. Remember, this is a double-action cleaner. It cleans and wax polishes your car in one simple, easy operation. The liquid is quickly and easily applied. It dries almost immediately to a white powder. Wipe off the powder and off goes the old dirty film. Streaks and stains disappear like magic. Your car shines like a mirror without any hard rubbing. Why, the whole job can be done in an hour. Johnson's Car New is for sale at filling stations, auto supply stores, garages, and at your regular wax dealers. Try it, and you'll agree your car looks like new when you use Car New. Well, FIBBER is determined to find out just what sort of guy he really is. Of course, he could ask people, but FIBBER was never one to stick the neck out unnecessarily. So here in the living room of 79 Wistful Vista, typing a letter to the famous professional handwriting analyst John Hancock, we find FIBBER McGEE and Molly.
My, that's an awful loud bell on that typewriter, dearie.
Yeah, used to belong to a sports writer. He used it at prize fights. I'm enclosing a coin in lieu of 25 cents in stamps. Hey, Molly, how do you spell Lou?
Lou who?
Not Lou anybody. I mean Lou as in lieu of.
Oh, that. L-O-O.
Oh, well, that's what I got. Funny how you can spell a word correct and it still don't look right.
Yeah.
Amazing, awaiting your immediate reply. I am yours truly, FIBBER McGEE. Let's see, I'll have to enclose a sample of my handwriting.
Come in.
Mr. McGee,
You betcha, bud.
do you need a gag writer?
No, we don't.
Oh, no?
Think you got us confused with somebody else, Molly?
No, I think we got him confused with us. What do you expect this handwriting expert to tell you, dearie?
Betty tells me I'm the creative type, Molly, a dreamer.
Ah, how wonderful. Being a dreamer and still able to do things.
Ah, you think so?
Sure, anyone who can dream and snore at the same time.
Gee, I wonder if that's the answer from the handwriting expert.
Well, you haven't mailed your application yet.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
Come in.
hello there, Drop Stitch.
Hello there, Boomer.
Just dropped in with a little proposition, a splendid investment, a plan to open a small casino on the outskirts of town where an adventuresome citizen may do his best to repeal the laws of chance.
Oh, a gambling place. We wouldn't be interested, Mr. Boomer. It's against the law.
What a coincidence. So am I. Well, I have the floor plans right here. Plan to call it Safety Pin.
Safety pin. Oh, I get it. Every time it opens, somebody gets stuck. Don't you get it, Boomer? I said...
Sorry, we don't pay off on 00. Now, where did I get those floor plans? Floor plans. Oh, here's a heavy rubber band. Found it in an overcoat at a restaurant around a roll of bills. Little dandy glass cutter. Very therapeutic for the jewelry store windows. Minor operation and the pain is gone. Pair of white gloves. Ducky, aren't they? Made by the Snow White Glove Company. Guaranteed not to leave your prints.
Well, well, imagine that. No floor plan.
Wait till the wheel stops spinning, my dear. Now, where did I put those floor plans? Here's a gold-plated shoehorn. Very useful. Never know when some heel is going to get caught in a tight spot. What's this? An invitation to an art exhibit. Must drop in and see the new sculpture. Always like to know what the other chiselers are doing. Elk's tooth needs brushing. Maybe Bob Hope could give it a guest appearance. Greetings, chum. A small revolver. Dangerous little weapon. An old friend of mine was shot with this 6 times. My mistake, 5 times. Well, imagine that. My floor plans. Wonder what could have happened to them.
Probably the same thing that happened to the egg the little red hen dropped in the mud, Boomer. Not lost, just mislaid.
Not a bad yolk. If you could come clean it up, good day.
There's too many comedians on this show.
Name one.
If I get any more ribs tonight, I'm going to open a barbecue joint. Just because a guy wants to improve himself. Come in.
Well, how do you do, Mrs. Uppington?
Oh, how do you do, Mr. and Mrs. McGee?
Hi, Uppy.
I just stopped in to inquire if you knew who's the best interior decorator in town.
Interior decorator?
Yes, you see, I'm having my house done completely over. I want everything done in modern.
You're darn what?
She means modern. You know, the kind of furniture that looks like it was designed by an acrobat and built by a geometry teacher.
Oh, but my dear, it is so attractive. And my house does need decorating badly. Let me see, it hasn't been done completely over since, oh dear, let me see, I think it was 4 years ago, no, 5. 5 years ago on my birthday, I had just turned 32.
32, huh? Careful there, Uppy. You took that turn awful fast.
She's well banked.
Oh, very amusing, I'm sure.
I'll tell you what, Uppy. I don't know where you could get any better advice on interior decorating than what I could give you.
Oh, really? Did you ever do any decorating, Mr. McGee?
Did I? Remember that residential suburb that was built a couple years ago? Snob Hollow?
Well, yes.
Well, McGee designed every mustache on every billboard in the whole suburb.
I never did no such thing, Molly. I done the beards. More Hoops done the mustaches. He was taller than I was. But frankly, Mrs. Uppington, I've always been interested in artistic things. No, I think for your living room...
You mean my drawing room?
Yes, for your front parlor. I'd do the upholstery in sheared wall Francis crayons with a wide edging of petticoats, croissnobbits. Don't you think so, Molly?
Well, yes, if you're sure they go with the pastel Bob Zicke.
Well, good heavens. Really, I must really be dreadfully behind the times. What on earth is a good gin-gin?
Well, that's just the latest thing in German squatties, Uppy. You can only use them in a room that has a large planetary completely around the Riverside.
Oh my, I'm so glad to hear that. Perhaps I'm just a silly girl, but it's one of the Behipsonies I shall insist on Pokipkin.
Well, I'll always be glad to help you, Uppy. That's characteristic of me, an artistic streak with a strain of,
Oh, just make it a strain, dearie.
Well, I certainly will appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Mr. McGee, I do so admire your artistic restraint.
Restraint?
Yes, I see you've restrained yourself from doing anything artistic with this house. Oh, perhaps you found the persnipkin was tipple for that clay walk of your particular upper tuckahoots. Well, thank you so much. Goodbye.
I'll bet she didn't know what she was talking about.
I didn't either.
Me too.
Same here.
Oh, hi, Harlow. I'm glad you came in. I just wrote for an analysis of my handwriting. I want to see what it indicates besides initiative, imagination, dramatic ability.
Well, there's nothing like dramatic ability. The play's the thing. The show must go on.
Yes, it sure must.
What do you know about it, Harlow? You're the practical type. Full of hard facts, brass tacks, and Johnson's wax.
Well, I've got an imagination, too. Look, here's a little dramatic playlet that I dashed off. Let's run through it and see how it sounds.
Oh, sure.
Here's a part for you, Fibber, and here's yours, Molly. I've got mine here. It's a one-act play laid in ancient Egypt.
And something tells me you should have left it lay.
Now, Molly, you play the part of Cleopatra. I'm Mark Antony, and Fibber, you're King Tut. On stage, everybody, curtain, music. Maestro, please.
Oh, there, Mark Antony. Sit thee down. Slave, bring Mark Antony a hunk of ambrosia and a slug of nectar.
Thanks, Tut. Well, Nice pyramid you've got here.
Oh, not bad. Still working on its size. As a matter of fact, if you come back years later, you'll still find me all wrapped up in it.
Hope you got the flowers I sent you for Mummy's Day.
Shall we go on? Come in, Cleopatra. Here's your Roman Romeo.
Hi, Cleo.
Hi, Bud.
Say, Cleo, I saw you in your last picture, the Dance of the Seven Veils. And if you take my advice, you'll demand a recount.
Easy, Mark. I mean, none of your lip, Mr. Anthony.
Well, come on, honey. Put your scarabs on and let's take a chariot ride. I know a swell joint to eat in. It's called Nebuchadnezzar's Nook on the Nile. And baby, you ought to taste their barbecued camel.
Oh, no, you don't. The last time one of you Romans took me out for barbecued camel, I had to walk back a mile. Besides, I refuse to ride in that awful dusty old chariot of yours.
Uh-oh. Boy loses girl. Wax gets plugged.
Ah, Cleo, you should see my chariot now. A wise man, the son of John, brought me some precious ointment out of the west. It is called Johnson's Carnu.
Yes, I read about it in this morning's parchment.
Ah, Cleo, 'tis wonderful stuff. Both cleans and wax polishes in one simple operation. You just apply it to the clean surface of your chariot, let it dry, and wipe it off. And there's your chariot, with a beautiful wax polish, gleaming and sparkling like the morning sun on the Red Sea.
Ah, that's wonderful, Mark. It's very dusty on the Red Sea this time of year.
Leave it to Carnu to protect your chariot against the sun, and the sand, and the rain. Better get some yourself, cuz.
I'll do that, Bud. It's going to throw a lot of slaves out of work. Well, run along, kids. Have a good time.
Okay, Pops.
Come on, Cleo. I have to be back in Rome tomorrow. We're building a dam across the Tiber River.
What's that for, Mark?
To hold that Tiber. Hold that Tiber, hold that Tiber, hold that Tiber, hold that Tiber.
My, wasn't that realistic, dearie?
True.
Excuse me while I dump the sand out of me sandals.
It wasn't bad, but that plot wasn't consistent. If that Antony had used Carnu, you'd never have met him.
Why not?
When you put that stuff on your chariot, there's never a mark on it.
Oh, my. Crawl in. Oh, no, excuse me. I thought we were still in the pyramids.
Hello there, Johnny. There's a letter for you.
Oh, well, thank you, old-timer. Are you a mailman now?
Eh?
She said, "Are you a mail carrier now?" I think it's a good job for you, old-timer. With your pigeon toes, you'd make a good carrier.
Oh, that's a good one, Johnny. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, the moonshiner says to the revenue officer, "Say, Ted, did you get the message I sent you about that still up on the ridge?" "Yep," said the revenuer, "but I tore it up. I thought it was just another mash note." I know that mountain country pretty well, Johnny. Been up there collecting jokes on the trail of the Lonesome Pun.
Who's the letter from, McGee?
Let's see. Say, can you beat this? It's an answer from Professor Hancock, the handwriting expert.
What? Already? Why, we only mailed your letter 15 minutes ago. That's wonderful service.
Yes, ain't it?
Mr. Farley, the Postmaster General, must be running for president, too.
Listen to this, Molly. It says, "Dear client, as the foremost exponent of graphology..." Hey, Molly, what's graphology?
Well, that's easy, dearie. Ology means the study of, and graph means a zeppelin. So he's got you analyzed as a big gas bag.
Well, can you imagine this, Molly? I was all wrong.
What?
I ain't artistic. He says I'm the muscular, athletic type. He says I got the same handwriting as all the great wrestlers. Strangler Lewis, Stanislaus Zabisco, Man Mountain Dean.
Well, you can't make a mountain out of a molehill.
I got half a mind to get back in training right away and make some big dough.
What do you mean?
Big dough. Make some big dough. Come on, get your hat, Molly.
What's that?
We're going down to the athletic club. One side, everybody. Here comes Mahler McGee.
Oh, gee.
I wonder if $5,000 is too much to ask for my first bout, Molly. If we can get them up to... Oh, here's the athletic club. Let's go in.
Oh, heavenly days, what a place. How can these wrestlers train in all this cigar smoke, dearie?
That's part of the training, Molly. It'd be silly to train in the fresh air and then wrestle in a lot of cigar smoke.
Is there something you folks wanted? I'm the manager of the joint.
Just a professional visit, Bub. I'm a wrestler myself. Ever hear of Mahler McGee, the mad mastodon of the mat?
Oh, yes. Didn't you used to be the heavyweight champion?
No, I never was.
Well, for goodness sake. Hey, Joikey, come here a minute. Here's a wrestler that was never the heavyweight champion. Meet up with Mahler McGee and his maul.
How do you do, I'm sure?
Well, hi, Jerky.
I'm very pleased to meet your acquaintance. Very pleased to meet your acquaintance. Oh, hello, folks.
Are you a wrestler too, Mr. Jerky?
No, he works for Gabby the Grunt.
Oh, manager?
No, I'm employed in another capacity. I'm not his manager. I'm not his manager. My job is more in the it's more in the Let's start over again, shall we?
Why, certainly. What do you do for Gabby the Grunt?
I'm his instructor in elocution. I'm his groaning instructor.
Well, there's more to this business than I actually thought. Has he got someone to teach him to make all those faces?
Oh, well, there's nothing artificial. There's nothing artificial. I mean, if you're a boy and you were born with a physiog... I mean, what I mean to say is that wrestlers don't make faces like that. It's the faces that make the wrestlers. Well, I'm very glad to have made your acquaintance. I'm very glad to make it. We've done this before, haven't we? Well, so long, folks.
Oh, heavenly days. Look at those big bruisers, McGee. Do they have to play so rough?
Oh, we got used to it, Molly.
Oh, what's that little girl doing in a place like this?
Got me. Hello there, little girl.
Hi, pal.
Ain't you kind of young to be hanging around a place like this?
Why?
Why, you ought to be home in bed.
I bet you have no bed, I betcha.
Why, I bet you have.
Certainly, this is no place for a little girl.
I think we'd better report this to the juvenile authorities.
I bet you're just the man me pop was talking about, I betcha.
Huh? Who is your papa?
Gus the Gorilla. And he's one of the best guys in the racket, too, I betcha.
Oh, he is he?
Huh?
I said, what did you mean when you said your papa was talking about me? He don't know me from Adam's own whatchamacallit.
Well, gee, maybe he didn't mean you. You're kind of bald.
Huh? What you mean, sis?
Well, me papa told me if anyone made wisecracks to me, he'd pin their so-and-so's ears back. But your hair's too short, mister. Well, goodbye now. I gotta go see if Wolf-Faced Denny is through with me skipping rope.
Look at them trying to wrestle, won't you? Why, I could lick any two of them if I was blindfolded and had arthritis.
So has you been in this business game long, buddy?
Oh, several minutes.
Who, me, bud? Shucks, I've been a wrestler ever since I was born. Used to take my nursemaid 22 minutes to pin my shoulders down to my crib.
You don't say.
Yep, I was booked for matches all over the country. Why, when I opened up, the heat was on. Book Match McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, dear.
Book Match McGee, the brawniest, brainiest brawler that ever battled a batch of beetle-browed bozos to a badly battered bunch of bruised bones, blurbed as the biggest box office bonanza in the biff-bam business, booed by billions of brainless bums for my brutal bombardment of bull-headed boobs, and ballyhooed at the best bicep bulger from Boston, where I beat the best from the boulevard to Budapest.
Say, I take you's just the guy we've been looking for. Gabby the Grunt's been looking for a guy to work out with.
Oh, he has he? Well, let me in there with that guy. I'll show him some new twists. Here, hold my coat, Molly.
Now, wait a minute, McGee. After all, you're McGee.
Go on, lady. Let him have his fun.
Look at poor little McGee in the ring with those big bruisers. Looks like a ventriloquist act.
Well, I don't know. Not mit two dummies. Hey, look at him go, lady.
Oh, McGee, be careful. Get down off that man's hand.
You better stand aside, lady. He's gonna throw him this way.
Oh, my analysis.
Are you hurt, dearie?
Gee, that's too bad, pal. Here comes Gabby the Grunt to apologize, though.
Oh, hi, Gabby. Boy, are you strong. You must have been wrestling a long time.
No, it's just a hobby. I have to keep in trim after sitting at a desk all day long.
At a desk? Ain't you a professional wrestler?
No, confidentially, I'm Dr. John Hancock, the handwriting expert.
Oh, sure.
In the summer months, the wise woman plans her work so she can have more time to be out of doors enjoying herself. More time to spend with her family. Do you know there's an easy way to keep your floors sparkling clean without scrubbing? Just let Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat shine your floors for you. Glow Coat quickly gives a sleek, glossy polish that defies dirt. Wouldn't you rather rest or read or go to a movie than spend your time scrubbing floors? Why, of course you would. Tomorrow then, buy a can of Johnson's Glow Coat. Spread this remarkable liquid lightly over the clean floor with a soft patch or long-handled Glow Coat applicator. Then take it easy for 20 minutes while Glow Coat dries to a gleaming polish that protects the floor from children's scuffing shoes, from dirt and stains. Ask for Glow Coat, GLO-COAT, Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat, the easy-to-use polish that makes floors and linoleum shine like new without rubbing or buffing.
Oh, hey, Molly. Put another pillow under my back.
Oh, all right, dearie. Better let me take your specs, too.
What's the matter? Are they broke?
No, I'll put them away until your ears straighten out again.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Good night. This is the National Broadcasting Company. In tonight's show, Fibber McGee was played with comedic charm by Herb Thompson. The very composed Molly was played by Judy Marsh. The very witty gag writer was played by Marty McNulty. Boomer, the pun artist, was played by Walt Kovalik. And that great Gabby the Grunt, that was our own Nell Brennan. The forever young and straight-laced Mrs. Uppington was played by Sue Gajinsky. The old-timer letter carrier was played by Roger Morris. Mr. Jerky and the wrestler were played by our own fantastic Foley man, Marty McNulty. The little sporting girl was played by Donna Amesmeyer. Harlow Wilcox and the gym manager were played by your announcer, Andre Dixon. Our great video and technical sound team, composed of more than us here tonight, but is represented by John V. Gelsomino. And now, a few words from our Director of Distinction, Jay Somerville.
Okay, let me start by thanking Dave Sanchi for providing much of the information I used in introducing tonight's shows. Thanks, Dave. And if you didn't like the information, there's your man. Okay. Also, we'd like to thank the Riverside Township Board for sponsoring us. On the back tables somewhere, over there, are some flyers with websites that can lead you to previous shows and information about the rest of the current season. You can find us at riversideradioplayers.com, set up by Marty McNulty, and at riversideradio.net and riversideradiold.net, set up by Andre Dixon. Finally, our troupe will be performing this coming Monday, February 25th at 7 o'clock with the Brookfield Film Society at Irish Times on Prairie Avenue at the tracks in Brookfield. They'll be presenting the Jack Benny movie Buck Benny Rides Again to celebrate Jack's birthday, which was on Valentine's Day. And they've asked us to reprise our December presentation about Jack doing his Christmas shopping. I don't know if you remember that one. And I believe we have, is Marty Blank here tonight? Marty is one of the members, or maybe the chair. I don't know. You're it. You're the co-host. Well, he is responsible for putting on these Film Society programs, and we look forward to joining him on Monday night, the 25th, at 7 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock, okay. And now, here is next month's director, Walt Kovalik.
So our first show next month will be an episode from The Saint called The Corpse Said Ouch. Simon Templar, a.k.a. The Saint, was not a saint. In fact, the name was the underworld's nickname for this radio detective who often did a little bad to get the goods on his criminals of choice. Simon Templar was called the Saint because his initials are S.T. The Chinese English crime novelist, that's a lot of words, Leslie Charteris wrote over 100 saint adventures, and many saint movies were made, the best starring George Sanders. In 1947, probably the most famous radio saint of all time, Vincent Price, whom you also heard tonight in the House of Usher, added his golden voice to the role. Vincent Price was once quoted as saying the most difficult thing about the show was coming up with new and unique ways to get conked on the head. So our second show in March is called Liz Gets Her Portrait Painted, an episode from My Favorite Husband. The series began on CBS Radio with Lucille Ball and Richard Denning as Liz and George Cugat, and after at least 20 early episodes, confusion with the band leader Xavier Cugat prompted a change to Liz and George Cooper. The cheerful couple lived at 321 Bundy Drive in the fictitious city of Sheridan Falls and were billed as two people who live together and like it. The program, which aired 124 episodes from July 1948 to 1951, initially portrayed a couple as being a well-to-do banker and his socially prominent wife, but 3 new writers took over the writing and changed the couple's name to Cooper and remade it into a middle-class couple, which they thought average listeners would find more accessible. As an end of that story, Lucille Ball was asked to do a television version of the show, and CBS insisted on Richard Denning continuing as her co-star. However, Ball refused to do a husband-wife TV show without her real-life husband, Desi Arnaz, playing her on-screen spouse. And the network reluctantly agreed, reworking the concept into I Love Lucy. So, we hope you will join us next month. We look forward to seeing you next month on Friday, March 22nd at the same time, 7:30 p.m. on this same station for our Tune programs. Thanks again for coming, and have a good evening.
Thank you all for coming tonight. Bye.